into the ring, the bell's about to chime. TurnBuckle Talk, we're here to shine. Flagship of the airwaves, leading the pack. Breaking news, reviews, we've got your back. From the squared circle to the backstage news, we bring stories that you can't refuse. TurnBuckle Talk, the voice of the fight. Every slam, every suplex, every highlight. Tune in weekly, don't miss a beat. For the latest in wrestling, we bring the heat. From AEW to WWE, we cover it all from A to Z. Interviews, insights, and match reviews. If it's wrestling news, we've got the clues. From the squared circle to the backstage news, we bring the stories that you can't refuse. TurnBuckle Talk, the voice of the fight. Every slam, every suplex, every highlight. Tune in weekly, don't miss a beat. For the latest in wrestling, we bring the heat.
WWE is making a move that fans are going to want to pay into. Live events are starting to make their return, but this isn't just a return to the old touring schedule. It's something different. So what exactly is coming back, and what does it mean for the future of WWE? Welcome to TurnBuckle Talk. It is me, Chris Best, and I am alongside the one, the only, the one-man dynamic, OMD. How are we doing today?
I am doing a lot better today. You guys know I've been dealing with bad tooth since the weekend. Right now, it's probably the best it's been since Friday. And I'm just hoping that I can keep things going, progressing in the right direction with this.
Nice. Glad to hear you're back on the mend, dude.
Oh, thank you. It's great to feel on the mend.
Let's get this all started off here with our story, OMD. Oh. Sorry, I lagged out there on into the big story, the first story, and this thing that you brought up.
Yes, this was just announced. I only just heard about it this morning. AEW is heading to Montreal with a brand new pay-per-view on Sunday, July the 26th, called Redemption. And this will be taking place live at the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec. It will be their 10th pay-per-view of the year. Right between All In and Forbidden Door, between Forbidden Door and All In August. Now, Montreal is known for WWE PLEs. They've never hosted an AEW show, but we know how hot Montreal is as a wrestling crowd.
Yeah, this is I'm kind of happy for this, but this is a big but here. I got a problem with the announcement myself. They announced it for July 26th. It's all fine and dandy, but I wish that they would have announced this back in, like, let's say February or even March, to allow for fans to save for the tickets to go to this event, because a July announcement, even like we're like 2 months away from it, a little bit too soon, just for my liking. This is just a personal vibe I have with it. I would love to go to this event myself.
Right. And I get exactly where you're coming from. As well, the timing, and I know it's something that we got used to back in the day, which was, you'd have the WWE PLE 1 week, WCW the next. This falls a week before SummerSlam. So was this just sort of timing based on the arena availability?
It might have been because I know Montreal has. I've looked at the event schedules for Montreal, and the Bell Center there's always something going on there. It's very similar to, dare I say, Toronto, the Air Canada Center or Scotiabank Arena.
Yep.
I've maybe in the past, like, because I'm always looking at these kinds of like various events there, and the one thing I've noticed between the two venues is that there's maybe a week to maybe about 3 weeks where there's nothing going on at those venues, and maybe that's probably because they're setting up for some kind of a gigantic event. But I'm happy to see AEW coming to Montreal. I believe this is their first time going to Montreal. Is it not?
It is.
I feel like it is.
It is. They've done Toronto. They just did Vancouver with, I believe it was Wrestle Dream.
Yeah. And we know that they frequently visit Alberta as well.
Yes. However, and to your point earlier too about the announcement coming now, tickets for this event go on sale June 1st, which does not give a lot of time to get tickets.
It's 1 week to save for the tickets, and at this point, when you're waiting for those ticket sales to go on, the only thing you can really do is just look at what the average AEW tickets go for, and that's a little bit difficult considering their primary touring dates are usually in the United States. If you can correct me on that one. So then you're looking at, like, obviously the American dollar compared to the Canadian dollar. But again, I'm very happy to see that AEW is expanding out there. And I've always said that when they first started off, I wish that they started going to small venues. But
Yeah.
I do see like why they're doing this go big or go home kind of situation.
Absolutely. And I mean, you got to go, like, you're going to one of the hottest wrestling crowds in North America, dare I say the world, in Montreal. We know what that crowd delivers as fans of wrestling. We know what Canadian crowds deliver in terms of wrestling. And now you're going to be bringing
Yes.
your new AEW tag team champions into Montreal in Adam Copeland and Christian Cage, who are of course Canadian. I'm trying to think of other Canadian wrestlers. Renee Paquette as an announcer who is Canadian. So there is a lot of Canadian tie-in in AEW.
Yeah. Yes. You're missing the biggest name. Y2J.
Yes, absolutely.
You know that he's going to be he's going to be in the main event of that show.
I knew there was
It's
somebody.
either
I
that
knew
or
there
Edge
was
and Christian are defending their tag team titles.
Kenny Omega. But yes, no, I knew there was somebody else I was missing, and I couldn't remember the name.
Yeah.
But you talked about AEW doing smaller venues. What I like is that they've been able to do different types of venues and arenas, like Stadium Stampede, when you had a completely empty stadium in Jacksonville and you were able to run a 10-man tag match that was chaos all across the stadium. They are doing something a little bit different as well with the Minnesota Twins, as they have announced as well on July 10th, Brawl in the Ballpark at Target Field. And so they have jointly announced a post-game wrestling event at Target Field in Minneapolis on Friday, July 10th. The card will feature AEW and Ring of Honor stars and will begin shortly after the Twins and Los Angeles Angels game concludes and will run for approximately 75 minutes. There will be a specially constructed wrestling ring inside Target Field's gate 34 area. Your thoughts on this?
I think that this is an interesting thing because I'm trying to figure this out. Like, I don't know why, but for some reason, I wanted to call this event Base Brawl. I don't know why, but that's what I thought of when I saw this, and that's what I think of whenever I see wrestling events take place at a baseball stadium. Why can't they take one event and call it that?
I believe actually TNA has the rights to Base Brawl because they've done it with, I believe, the Chicago Cubs and the Chicago White Sox. Now, here is something interesting. Admission to Brawl in the Ballpark is free with any ticket to the July 10th game between the Twins and Angels. There are additional packages available. Included in the ticket package, and you will receive an exclusive co-branded Twins AEW Lucha Mask hat. The VIP package will include a game ticket, the hat, and VIP ringside access. There is an on-deck package, including a reserved seat at the truly on-deck outdoor patio for both, with an aerial view of the ring, the Lucha Mask hat, and $30 in food and beverage. They have not announced any wrestlers yet for who will be on the show, but this is going to be very, very interesting. And I hope we get to see some highlights from this.
Yeah, I think I do too. I, for one, I'm one of those ones that I'm like, I want to see this on YouTube. I want to see this on some kind of a streaming platform. This is something I've been thinking about with AEW, and this is something that WWE does. I kind of need AEW to start uploading some of their classic full shows on YouTube. Like,
Right.
maybe upload Fighter Fest from their first year. Stuff that they know that they're probably not going to get a lot of viewership right now on their streaming platforms, but maybe you can on YouTube.
Yeah.
I would be okay with that.
Would you, if you're in this position, would you maybe take that and use it as part of a Collision broadcast instead of going to a new venue? We know that Collision is typically pre-taped. Would you use that for the Collision broadcast instead?
I think I would. I think I would. If there was going to be like, let's say, you know how TNA sometimes takes a week or so off, and on like Sportsnet 360 up here, we get like Steve Macklin's greatest matches or something like that.
Yep.
Maybe that's something AEW could do as well. Like, maybe do like a shortened version of each pay-per-view, I suppose you can say. Like, take out well, actually they do like 15 matches per show, and you can divide that up, and we'll say,
Yeah.
I say 15 matches because that's just like the general consensus. But
Right. I mean, let's not forget
I'm very excited.
Going back.
I'm very excited about this Montreal show.
Yeah. I mean,
Go
let's
ahead.
not forget AEW. Thanks to the show's founder, to Carl Carafel's credit, he was at this show. They did a live broadcast of AEW Dynamite on Chris Jericho's Rock and Wrestling Rager at Sea.
Mm-hmm.
But they've also just done something at, it was like a brawl on a golf course type of thing that they just did, and it was like the Fairway Slam or something. And you know, they do the tennis stadium. So I give AEW a lot of credit for being really innovative when it comes to these different types of events.
Yeah, I agree with that. And speaking of innovation, I think it's time we move on to our next story. This is a story that broke to me this afternoon, and we're looking at CBC has reported that in Canada, especially in the Yukon territory, a company by the name of CWF Canada hosted a pro wrestling school for high school kids, young kids to come and take part in. They did a whole bunch of they showed some basic training to them. It was basically done as a way to get the future of pro wrestling into it, like children and all that. And then not only that, but they also had them wrestle a couple of matches on the show. And on top, a couple of singles matches. I think there was a tag match and a battle royal were also all involved in this show. I thought this was a cool thing that they did, because what it does, and this is just my personal opinion, this gets the future of wrestling, the kids that want to do it, excited about getting into the sport of pro wrestling. What do you make of this, OMD?
I love the education aspect of it, going into the schools, teaching the kids about wrestling. Not just wrestling, but, maybe a little bit of character development. Teaching them that, you know what? If you're being and this is something that I've wanted to do with trying to open a wrestling school. Because I've always said, wrestling is bullying under the guise of theater. But it's done with the, consent, because you're going over it. So you're teaching them how to do this, stay out of trouble. We know about the Northern Revenge Tour that the aspiring independent wrestlers have to go on as they go through all of this.
The Death Tour.
The Death Tour. And you look at the location of this being in the Yukon, which is something you don't ever think of for pro wrestling. Although the original Gorgeous George was from the Yukon.
Yeah, when I saw this and I read this article, and I think I saw pictures and all that, I just thought how cool it was for the province of the Yukon territory, and it's not just the Yukon, but they're also touring a bunch of the northern territories as well. So I just think that I love that they're building a wrestling community up there.
Yeah.
And I'm just so happy to see that.
The other thing that I really liked about it was they said that the kids who were not of age to be in the ring were still given roles with it to be able to do stuff and learn, as opposed to going in there and taking those bumps.
Yeah, they had what they did was they had the wrestlers come in and basically act as gym teachers and showed them maybe some different exercises they could do to get into shape when it comes time for, that in-ring training.
Yeah. And I mean, it's been a while since we've seen them. We do know some of the CWF guys. We've had our interactions with them over the years through different and various companies. So big ups to the CWF. Congratulations. Thank you for teaching the youngsters and bringing wrestling to an area it wouldn't normally get to.
Yeah, we got Bubba Duke coming in saying, "Evening, boys. How's it going, Bubba? Glad to have you here."
Yes, Bubba, great to see you as always, brother. We'll talk soon.
But I think before we push our next story, I think it's time we take a quick commercial break.
I think so.
The TurnBuckle Studios store is open for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the merch and represent the best from the shows you watch on a weekly basis. Multiple styles to choose from with over 10 products available. Don't get left out and pick up all your favorites today. Find us at turnbucklestudios.org.
And ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. TurnBuckleStudios.org is your home for the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, and we want you to head to our shop, powered by Redbubble.com. Support your favorite shows and your favorite podcasters. Wear what we wear, and all of those proceeds come back into our studios to bring you a better experience. Also, in our merch, with whatever it is, tag us, show us, send us a picture, and we will give you a shout out live on air during one of our many, many weekly shows.
Yeah, and speaking of merch sellers, let's talk some Danhausen, boys.
Okay.
We don't want to get our show cursed, so we got to talk some Danhausen here, because he has signed a contract with Adventure Media, and what this contract does for him is it allows it's going to allow Danhausen's IP in film, TV, digital, publishing, and other business ventures. So what Danhausen is doing with this is it's going to allow him to appear in comic books, appear in his image, to appear in cartoons, to appear, maybe he shows up in a movie somewhere. I could see him doing like one of those B-rated horror movies, by the way. I like this deal for him because, I mean, you look at what Danhausen's already doing with the WWE being a top merch seller. Yeah. Why not pull the trigger and have him do other things outside the WWE?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm already seeing it now. I think it would be Danhausen comic with AJ Lee behind it.
Yes. I was hoping you would get to that.
But
no buts. Just put him in a comic.
Where I see him going with the movie, and I think this would just be absolutely perfect, would be Scooby-Doo meets Danhausen.
Yes. Okay, I can get behind that one. If you put him in that cartoon, put him in, do a cartoon movie with him, put Danhausen in there, comedy gold with Scooby-Doo. But I would love to see him in like one of those, I'm going to really date myself, but like those movies like Plan 9 from outer space, like Ed Wood style movies, like really like cheeseball horror films. Put him in one of those and he would be just gold as like a villain or like a hero / villain or like an anti-hero kind of thing.
Yeah. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yes, something like that. Or Killer Clowns from Space. Put him in one of those cheap movies.
Yep.
And you know that because of his fan base that movie is going to sell.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I love this, and I imagined him also in the comic series, and I imagined AJ Lee doing. I think she draws, right, for her comics. Okay, I imagined her doing the drawing for him and all of that. I imagined like anime style drawing actually for him.
Yeah,
and I could see him actually being in like an anime cartoon, like a very funny anime cartoon, not like not like a Dragon Ball Z or anything of that nature, but just something silly like that. I can see him 100% doing that. And this, I love this deal for him.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a fantastic move for Danhausen. And we know that he is an avid comic book collector. And I believe he also does his own line of comics. So this is just brilliant on Danhausen's part. The guy is a marketing genius.
Mm-hmm.
And for all of the success he had, like watching him back in the original ROH, you know, you saw him in AEW. They didn't really know what to do with him there. And he's already extremely over and better booked in WWE. I absolutely think this is a brilliant move. So congratulations to Danhausen. Keep it up. And I cannot wait to see you curse the monster chasing Scooby and Shaggy.
This is also going to, he's also been expanding into sports media. As we know, he cursed the Cleveland Cavs and they're out of the playoffs right now.
Yep. I've got to go with this one here. Can we get Danhausen and Gene Simmons to meet? Gene Simmons.
That'd be fun. I think that would be really fun.
Yeah.
Do this right now. Do a cartoon called Kiss Saves Danhausen.
There we go.
This just, I am just, it's amazing to me like how within just a span of 3 months, because he came in February in the WWE. I think we're 3 months this week actually.
Something like that, yeah.
In the span of 3 months, Danhausen has become a household name, basically.
Yeah.
Pun intended on that one. And it just excites me now to see where this guy's going, because like, as you mentioned, like we've watched this guy since ROH. I've seen him before ROH too, and to see the rise that he's on right now is just fantastic. Like, get this he's a character, and he should be in like a cartoon. He should be on a comic book. He should be in one of those B-rated cheap horror films that you find on Tubi.
Danhausen versus Spawn, or Danhausen meets the Crow.
Yep. All in. I'm all in on this one. I am. I can't wait to see where this leads. If there is a Danhausen comic that gets put out, I'm not a comic book collector, but I would probably go and find a way to buy it.
Right?
But again, congratulations to Danhausen and all the success that's just flooding him right now. But let's talk a little bit more success. Let's talk a little bit more success here, and this is something that I'm very intrigued about too. But we have new owners of Progress Wrestling and Defy. OMD, you want to take this one?
Let's do it. Big Damo, formerly known as Killian Dane in WWE, and Nikki Cross, Nikki Storm, whatever you want to call her, have purchased Progress Wrestling and Defy. So this drastically alters both the independent scenes in the UK and the US. They are taking ownership of one of British wrestling's most prominent modern brands. And we know that Progress had a history with the WWE. It got a revival because of being able to do an event at Wembley. And now they want to guide Progress through the coming years and identify new talent, integrating them into the current phenomenal roster. So I think this is just a way to help grow. Is this a way for these guys to stay really relevant? Because we don't hear a lot about them. We know what happened with Nikki Cross, and I love this for her. Defy, being a U.S. independent brand launched under a decade ago, it became a very intriguing indie brand over the years. Names like Swerve Strickland, Nick Wayne, and the tag team duo of Sinner and Saint, who are actually a Canadian tag team, came up there. Defy and Progress were already planning a merger. So now you're putting this under one solid ownership. committee, I guess, with Nikki and Damo.
I love this move for them because Progress Wrestling. Because I've been watching Damo. I've known him as Damo before he became Killian Dane because I watched him a lot in What Culture Pro Wrestling, Defiant. He came up around the same time Joe Hendry started coming up over in Europe as well. And Progress was one of the companies that Damo actually wrestled for a brief period. Nikki Cross also wrestled there as well. We've got Will coming in saying, "Hi guys from the UK. I'm glad you're popping in because we're talking to a UK wrestling company right now."
Yes, we are.
I'm very excited about this move because if there is one guy who has a brain for this business, it is Big Damo. He is unbelievably intelligent when it comes to the wrestling business. Same goes for Nikki Cross. Nikki Storm, Nikki Cross. I'm still going to call her Nikki Cross. That's how we've known her for the past decade. So, yeah, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about how they bought Progress Wrestling and how exciting it is. I used to watch Progress Wrestling too on YouTube a lot.
Yeah.
And this was back when that big UK wrestling boom was happening and everybody was like, there were huge names coming out of there. And I can't wait to see the resurgence of UK wrestling again.
Now, I'm wondering though, like, we know that there was a planned merger. So are they going to run them as separate entities, complete that merger? Or are they just going to complete the merger, run it as one big company traveling back and forth? And does this become really another pipeline for the WWE ID?
I think it could be, but you got to look at Nikki Storm and Big Damo and how much. Will's mentioning all the promotions that they've got there. They've got Rev Pro, Progress, Women's Wrestling Eve is over there right now. Will Ospreay sometimes works there as well. Sorry to go off your question there. I think what I would do is I would probably brand it all under one roof, and I would have like an American contingent and a UK contingent, and have like a talent exchange every so often, just so that these wrestlers can get seasoned with the European style of wrestling and the North American style of wrestling. And then you talk about that big line that Nikki Cross, Big Damo have. They've got connections with some big companies. So you season these wrestlers up, and then when they come to like the WWE, they're obviously still going to go through the NXT system. They're already seasoned when they get there, so it wouldn't be a long stay in NXT for them.
Do we see Nikki Cross and Big Damo being still fairly active or less active and focusing more on the promotion?
I think that's going to depend on just how busy the promotion's going to be, because if they are gonna continue with the in-ring stuff, they are getting up there in the age at this point. Like I know that they're not too far off from hanging up the boots. I think I think it's going to depend on just how busy running the promotion is going to get, and this is definitely a good out for them to leave the ring but still be involved within the wrestling business. Because they could not only, I think with Defy and Progress, you can use that word, progress. You can progress new wrestlers and get them to help train them, and then bring them in as your own natural homegrown talent. I would look at, if I'm Damo and Nikki though, I'd look at getting other trainers involved if that's also the case. Like I'd look at. I know he's training for the WWE right now, but I'd look at a guy like Robbie Brookside and help and get him to help.
Well, I'm thinking there's a few others that Nikki might know, and I'm thinking maybe Taylor Rotunda, Eric Redbeard, Psycho Joe, Samuel Shaw. Would this be a way to keep the Wyatts alive?
Yeah, and yeah, see that, and that's again, that's those connections, right? As Will is, we got Bobby Stats in our room saying hello, Chris Bastin OMD, just like the video. Thank you much for that like, Bobby. Will is also coming in saying she trademarked the new indie name Nikki Storm, like you said, but probably busy with promotions. So yeah, it is a wait and see progress on there. But I do like where you're going with this whole connections thing, because Killian Dane also has connections as well, and we're looking at guys like Gallus, for instance. He's done work with them. Joe Hendry is also another guy he's worked with. Why am I blanking on the stable he was in with Eric Young?
Sanity.
And Nikki Cross? They were both in the same stable. Sanity, thank you. He's got Alexander Wolf. We talked about him prior to doing the show tonight.
Yeah.
There's a lot of connections that these two already have, and there's a lot of ins for these up and coming wrestlers here. And right now, yeah, as Will is saying, there's a lot of free agents right now. Kylie Ray, Alba Fire. Alba Fire would be a great woman to bring in for some women's wrestling.
You know what? I remember the first match I ever watched of Nikki Storm, and it was on YouTube, and it was in ICW. And it was Nikki Storm versus Viper, a.k.a. Piper Niven, versus Kaylee Ray, a.k.a. Alba Fire, in a triple threat match.
I saw that match just last week, actually. I've been getting recommended a lot of ICW videos because of my love of Joe Hendry, and that's where Joe Hendry got his start. So,
yep.
Yeah, even Bobby Stats is saying, like, on the American on that side too, you can bring in somebody like Zoe Stark to give a hand. There's just I'm so excited about this where we're going with this purchase of Progress and Defy. But I will be honest with you guys, I used to confuse Defy with Defiant Wrestling, which was also known as WCPW before they became Defiant. And I think it was just because, like, same kind of title, you know what I mean?
I always used to get Progress and Evolve confused.
There was a brief period when that happened to me too, but at that same time, I was just getting really inundated with a lot of independent wrestling, and I still am, and I very much enjoy it, just as I am enjoying this purchase here, and this makes me so happy. What I'm very curious about is how Killian Dane, Big Damo, and Nikki Cross are going to advertise their shows. How are they going? Are they going to stream it across YouTube? Are they going to find an avenue on Tubi to put the shows on? Are we going to see them partner up with a streaming service in the UK, perhaps, and get the shows on there? I, for one, personally would like to see it go to YouTube just for the ease of access, because there's also a more worldwide audience where they can get their shows out. And I know that Progress has a very strong fan base. So I think YouTube is probably the best option for them.
Yep.
Let me see. What have you got anything more on this situation?
No, I think I'm good. I think I've said all I can say. I just want to wish best of luck to Big Damo and Nikki Cross, Nikki Storm on this. And we can't wait to see what you guys have in store for us.
Yeah, but I think it is time to take a quick commercial break.
A TurnBuckle affiliation program is looking for more people. If you have passion level for pro wrestling, sports, video games, or something else, then TurnBuckle Studios is the place to be. If you have ever wanted to pursue content creation and want to join our team, then we would love to have you. Check out turnbucklestudios.org or contact us by email today, because your future is now, and we want you to tap in.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, TurnBuckleStudios.org is your home for the TurnBuckle affiliation program. If you have ever wanted your break-in podcasting, content creation, a potential collaboration, or to help us behind the scenes, hit the join button. Send us your creds by email. Tell us how you can help us, how you believe we can help you. We will sit down as a collective and find the right fit. All of that and more at TurnBuckleStudios.org.
And I think it is time for our showstopper segment of the
On his feet. Oh my God in heaven!
All right.
This is a big one, guys, and this is something I'm excited for. But we are talking WWE adding more live events. Now, WWE is gradually increasing its focus on live and non-televised events again. In recent years, WWE has reduced the number of traditional house shows in favor of a stronger focus on weekly television programming, such as Raw and SmackDown, along with major premium live events, like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Royal Rumble. The shift reflected a broader strategic change within the company. Instead of maintaining a heavy year-round touring schedule, WWE streamlined its live events calendar to prioritize television content, international specials, and large-scale venues. But now WWE is beginning to reintroduce more live touring dates in selected markets. These shows are not yet at the level of the company's older touring schedule, but they are becoming more consistent again in certain regions and international stops. The purpose of these live events is to bring WWE superstars directly to fans in smaller or non-televised markets, while also giving talent additional in-ring experience outside of weekly TV and premium live events. However, this is still a controlled rollout. WWE is not fully returning to the extensive house show model of the past. Instead, it is focusing on a more selective schedule that fits within the modern content-driven business approach. So in short, WWE is bringing live events back, but it's going to be a little bit more streamlined and a little bit more strategic than before, meaning that they're finding a way to do these live events without having to injure the wrestlers and have them on the road 300 days out of the year like it used to be.
Yeah, and I absolutely love this, but you've also got such a wealth of talent. We know that NXT has been doing the live shows. But you have this wealth of talent. And a lot of them we don't get to see or hear about very often because we are still looking at a lot of the usual suspects. So This is a way for these guys to get out there, let the fans see them so that when they get their opportunity on TV, the fans are familiar with them. I was going to ask because one of my first thoughts was, okay, like they had all that backlash over ticket pricing, especially for like the major PLEs. And then, of course, you look at those cutbacks that they were trying to do within certain radius of stadiums for those PLEs as well and the watch parties. So this is just another way to create that revenue through those ticket sales, through those merch sales, so that you can scale back ticket pricing.
Exactly. That's where I think we're going with this too, because I really do think that WWE heard our complaints about like the rising ticket prices. I mean, God knows we've talked about that plenty of times right here on this very show. Yeah. So I think what I've read is that Hunter is sitting down with Nick Khan and the TKO board, and they're trying to figure out a way to do this and then lower those ticket prices for those major PLEs, for your Raws, for your SmackDowns. Because let's face it, even though those shows are a little bit out of my price range at least, because we're gonna go back to the old regime. Yes, it was a very hectic schedule, 300 days out of the year, according to Hulk Hogan, 400 days, but
Right.
that's neither here nor there. And I saw like why that was, and that's because Vince was doing that so that he can keep ticket prices low, so that he can allow everybody who loved the WWE to come and enjoy the product.
Yeah.
And I think that's where they're trying to find that balance right now. They're trying, because on the flip side, when Vince was doing that, a lot of wrestlers were getting hurt quite often.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that we also know from house shows, and whether it was, they're looking at a future storyline, and it states here in the article, it's important for the younger talents to get their reps and experiment with ideas. So if something works at these live events, you can carry it over and bring it to the main roster.
You know what? I will flat out admit to this. So you and I, we went to 2 house shows in '94 and '95. But what they did with those house shows, they already showed established storylines that were already going on at the time.
Yeah.
But I went to the house show I went to in 2010 actually did that, and they showed because Randy Orton was still working as a heel on television, but they had him wrestling babyface on this house show. And they were testing that market to see if Randy Orton and could wrestle as a babyface and how that would get over. They had him tag teaming in the show that I was at. They had him tag teaming with John Cena against Sheamus and Ted DiBiase Jr. So
Right.
they were testing the waters for the future of the feud with Legacy, because the feud was with Ted DiBiase. Sheamus and John Cena were already in an established feud at the time for the World Heavyweight for the WWE title. So that's what I loved about the house shows, is that we saw them test the market. We saw the future of WWE TV before it appeared on WWE TV.
I remember going to a house show at the Scotiabank Arena in Toronto during the Alliance War.
Yes.
So we actually had Chris Jericho as the babyface wrestling Steve Austin in a cage was the main event. Kane versus Kurt Angle. William Regal had Tajiri with him as the GM.
Yeah.
Edge and Christian versus the Dudleys, leading towards their first breakup. So again, established storylines. I did another house show in Hamilton on Edge's farewell tour that actually saw Randy Orton defend the Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus, as well as Ted DiBiase and The Miz teaming up against... Oh, who did they team up against? Part of me wants to say it was Fandango and somebody. Might have been Fandango and Cody.
Yeah.
And there was a dance-off as well, where they dropped Summer Rae.
And here's the other thing about these live events, okay? Sure, we have Main Event right now that showcases possible NXT call-ups. We saw Nikita Lyons recently on Main Event, and now there's a rumor that she's going to get her call-up around SummerSlam.
Yep.
At a house show I went to in 2005, I saw Bobby Lashley before he came to TV.
Yeah.
And he had a match against Simon Dean. I saw Mr. Kennedy, Ken Anderson, before he went to TV.
Yep.
So these live events, this is a great way to introduce NXT wrestlers to people who don't watch NXT but go to these events to enjoy the wrestling.
Right.
This is a great way to do that for the NXT guys, because I know NXT does do live events, but the NXT crowd goes to those live events. The hardcores do. You and I would go to an NXT live event if it came here.
100% we would. We'd probably have ringside seats.
But if you, yeah, if you bring like 4 or 5 guys on a loop, then you've got those 4 or 5 guys who are getting that exposure to not just the NXT hardcore fans or the hardcore fans like you and I, but the casual fans like the father who brings his son because his son likes wrestling.
Yeah.
That was the beauty of what these what live events were back then. We saw wrestlers appear in the ring before we got to see them on TV, so that we already knew who they were, and they were already sort of established in a way.
Yeah.
Exactly. Bobby Stats is saying there's people who don't even watch Evolve, and when they come into NXT, everybody's like, "Who are they?" I watch Evolve when I get the chance. But that's why I'm excited to see this. I do want to see it be a little bit of a slower rollout because, again, that old schedule was just way too insane.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't need to go back to 300 days a year. Like,
yes.
I love the idea that they get, those holidays off now to be with family and friends. They are allowed the time off. They don't have to, get suspended or get injured. They can just, okay, I've done this. I need to go and rest. And then they can come back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you don't need them out on the road.
Mm-hmm. I think you can give me your opinion on this, but what if they did? Let's just say they did a weekly live event tour, like let's say they go Saturday, Sunday, we'll say. What I would do is I would switch out the wrestlers so that each wrestler gets their proper rest. So like, let's say you have CM Punk on this tour, on like he's doing a couple house shows this weekend. He gets a break the following weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then Roman Reigns goes on the tour. Like, you just switch out the wrestlers, and then they maybe do these live events once a month, we'll say, these live event tours.
Yeah.
Because as you had mentioned at the top of this report, there's a ton of guys already on the WWE roster. I believe there's close to 300 some odd wrestlers.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And you can also, Bobby Stats mentioning Evolve, you can bring guys from Evolve there to help them get that exposure as well.
Even start showcasing some of the people from LFG.
Mm-hmm. And when I mentioned those Saturday, Sunday tours, you can do like SmackDown on Saturday, Raw on Sunday. You don't have to do it in the same city. You can do it on separate cities. You can just do it that way. And then, again, still alternate those wrestlers out.
Yeah. I was going to say, because I know, like, usually with house shows, it's sort of a mix of both brands. We know that they did a time where it was Raw would have a house show, SmackDown would have a house show, whether they were on opposite sides of the country or 2 hours apart.
Yeah.
I'd rather just keep it, like you do a PLE, keep it mixed up, give us 5 or 6 matches. You know what? There's where you do your things like the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. Is put them out there on those house shows. Let some of those big things happen.
I was going to say kind of like how they did it in the 80s then, because the 80s, the King of the Ring tournament was a house show event in the Boston market, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But yeah, I'm very intrigued to see how they do this, and I've tossed out the ideas to you, Hunter. If you're out there, maybe listen.
Right.
But on that note, OMD, I think we got one final commercial before we say our goodbyes. So
we absolutely do.
TurnBuckle Studios and the TurnBuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday night, we are on call as the Raw Patrol is on duty at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, TurnBuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday, we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Thursdays, we roam the jungle with the Boar's Nest at 9 p.m. Friday, we invite you to come for a ride with the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday, be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. And later in the day, The Locker Room presents Wrestling Recap delivers at 7 p.m. Always be aware that weekend shows can vary in times, as the PLE Patrol and other watch party streams are always a must-see. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day, and watch all of the latest episodes on turnbucklestudios.org/shows. And please do not forget to drop a like, follow, and to subscribe to all of our channels, and when the time is right, all you have to do is tap in.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, TurnbuckleStudios.org is your home for the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program, and there is something for you each and every night of the week. We want you to meet the team behind those shows. Mr. Best, myself, Bubba Duke, Chris Parrish, Logan Thompson, and the Godfather himself, Carl Carafel. Click on our individual links to get our socials and watch our latest weekly live episodic broadcasts. All of that and more at TurnbuckleStudios.org.
That's right. And guys, we have ourselves a sponsor. Turnbuckle Studios and Dubby have teamed up, the only tag partner we need. Grab some Dubby energy at dubby.gg. Use that promo code TB Studios to save yourself some money on some fantastic beverages there. OM Dynamic, what are those famous words we like to go out on?
Ladies and gentlemen, always remember, the world is better with you in it. From all of us here at Turnbuckle Studios and Turnbuckle Talk, to those of you out there wherever you are, good night, good luck, we out.
Flagship show setting the tone. In the world of wrestling we stand alone. With news and reviews we lead the way. Turnbuckle Talk every day. Turnbuckle Talk every day.